John Davis, you're CEO of Colliers International and based here in the Middle East. You've made a presentation today about this market not being ready for institutional investors from around the world. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Certainly. When you say that we're not ready, I think the Middle East, or let's look at the UAE specifically, it is a new market. It is an emerging market, and obviously emerging markets take time to go up the curve until one can get to a point where we can start to attract international institutional investors, and we're certainly nowhere near that point yet in being able to draw in these institutional investors. Because what an institutional investor is looking for, which we don't have in this market, is product which they can have full ownership of. They're looking for the quality of tenants, the length of leases. They're looking for facilities within a particular building which would match their investment criteria. If one has a look at say Western Europe or the States, for example, and the type of product that the pension funds and the institutional investors look at, you can see in this market that we certainly don't have it as yet. If one looks at, for example, the logistics market, there's a huge investment opportunity across Europe and America in logistics. In this part of the world, we haven't even scratched the surface with that yet. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it is something that we need to aspire to and look forward to and work towards going forward.
It's more. It sounds like it's more like an opportunity that's being missed. But let me ask you about, for example, a building of the scale and fame of Burj Dubai, which is due to open soon. Would a huge international pension fund or internationally investing pension fund be interested in buying something like that?
Maybe that's a little bit too large, and I think the ownership that one has at the moment, with all the individual units being sold off to individual parties, would be an absolute nightmare to consolidate, to try and put it into a package which would then be saleable to the institutional market globally. What we need to start looking at, and this is what I was saying earlier, that the developers need to identify product within their portfolios that they can develop with a view of selling that on, tenanting it, looking at management, looking at facilities management, and then putting that out into the market for institutional purchasers to come to.
Some people say, and just externally it certainly looks like that Dubai is more advanced in this way, in this direction, than Abu Dhabi is. Are there buildings in Dubai which have been bought by pension funds in this manner that you're referring to?
Some buildings in Dubai have been bought by institutional investors. Not very many, because as I said earlier, there is not the diversification of product available currently that would attract these type of investors into the market.
You're looking for top quality. You're looking for a single owner, essentially, to buy from.
Not necessarily a single owner at this point in time, but something that could be converted into single ownership, that an institutional investor or a pension fund could take ownership of, yes. And the biggest positive is looking at the quality of the tenants and the length of the leases, and obviously the facilities that go with the building.
Right, and leases in this part of the world tend to be 1 year, correct?
Tend to be shorter than would suit institutional investors. If we could look at 5-year leases, maybe longer, with rent reviews throughout the period, as opposed to a 1, a 2, or a 3-year lease, I think then we're starting to get towards institutional type leases.